So, I decide to choose the golden child over my other sibling. I can't help them both out, apparently, so here's what I am to do. I'm 26 and I'm the older brother of two sisters, Maya and Tia. Our parents are complete a-holes, and Maya was their golden child and honestly a complete utter spoiled brat. I get that's harsh to say about a kid, but she was. She got special treatment and would get away with absolute murder. Our parents basically encouraged it despite basically leaving me to raise my sister so they could enjoy themselves. When I was 18, Tia was 13, Maya was 11, I moved out. I stayed in contact with Tia, though I quickly gave up on trying to contact with Maya. Honestly, our parents and Maya were absolutely horrible to Tia while I was gone, so when she was 18, Tia moved out and she stayed with me. I've made her get some therapy and done my best to be a good brother, and she's managed to be a lot happier since then. Though, after that, I basically did not see our parents or Maya. However, last November, Maya randomly reached out to us. Tia just ignored it, but Maya is still my little sister, so I gave her a chance. In the time without us, she says that she's really missed us, and realized just how spoiled and cruel she was acting. Apparently, part of how she treated Tia was jealousy of how I was close to her, but not Maya. Though it obviously does not justify it, she had felt guilty for a while, but was scared to reach out in case we would reject her. She felt really sincere and was really apologetic and seemed ashamed. I forgave her, and we started talking a lot, and I became close to Maya really quickly. We get along great now, and we're actually pretty similar. Unfortunately, Tia refuses to forgive her or even respond. I think she's being a little unfair, but I understand how she feels. From talking, I noticed that Maya seems to be having a hard time at home. She wasn't going to say anything, but ends up spilling when I pressed her. Our parents basically turned on her the moment we all left, and she was not the golden child anymore and had to suffer our parents' bullcrap. Honestly, I'm ashamed to admit, but I never considered how our parents would treat her, with us gone. With how horrible our parents are, I wanted to ask her to move in with me. Now, I just want to make it clear. I'm the renter. The rental agreement and bills and everything are all under my name. Yeah, Tia contributes, but since she still lives in university and my little sister, it's just much less. And unofficial. But when I brought up the idea, Tia was furious and she rejected it. I tried to compromise and talk, but it went nowhere. So in the end, I told Tia I'm offering and that she can be civil or I can help her move somewhere else. Maya accepted. She's coming to stay next week. And let me tell ya, Tia is mad. Feels I'm choosing the golden child over her, but I'm not. Maya's suffering and I want to help, and she's just a different person now. I understand Tia hurts and I get her anger, but Maya also needs me right now. Tia's still angry and our friends think it was an a-hole move, but Maya's my sister and I don't think it's wrong to help her. I helped Tia back then too. Edit. Hey guys, I went to sleep with post-stopping and I did not expect to wake up to all this. There were so many, so I wasn't sure how to respond to everyone, so I just left it. Read and thought about it for a while. There's a few things I want to clear up first, about 3 things. Number 1. Maya's not lying about this. I know my parents and Maya did not even want to tell me about her issues at home. There's basically no chance it's a lie, and she's tried and tried to talk to and apologize to Tia. Tia just won't let her. I know what she did in the past was horrible, but she isn't just manipulating me to hurt Tia. She genuinely hated how she was and just wants to live somewhere safe and happy and loved. Number 2. I get it wasn't enough, but the timeline was admittedly poorly written, and when we started discussing it last month, she knew this decision for a couple of weeks. While I now see it was misguided and cruel, it wasn't just a few days. Number 3. I don't know if it's appropriate to go into depth, but Maya acts against Tia, they were verbal and psychological. It was disgusting, and I know how deeply it hurt Tia. Our parents were mostly really neglectful aside from verbal and emotional abuse and rewarding Maya for being the golden child. Being perfect and cruel meant she would get their love, which neither of us did. Thanks to everyone for their perspective, I didn't realize how naive I was being and thinking this would work out. I'm going to try to see if some friends can take Maya in for now, and maybe if she can get her own place. I'm going to try to be there for both of them, and ask Tia to forgive me for being so short-sighted and stupid. I hope they can eventually work things out, but like people are saying, it might just be a stupid pipe dream. I think the best plan is to help Maya get a cheap apartment or something nearby, and I'll help out where she needs it. What's up everybody, Mr. Reddito here. So, I found an update from this poster. This update did not come out for a whole year. And OP comes back and says, I posted last year about my golden child sister Maya. Well, OP just wants to give a little bit of an update. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Let's jump into this update. Well, at the expense of my sister Tia, I didn't expect so many responses or the hate I got, though I now realize how badly I ducked up. While I still think how people wrote about Maya was disgusting and unfair, how I treated Tia was cruel and ignorant. I was trying to help everyone and be practical, but I neglected to properly consider the emotional side. While unintentional, I was just ignoring Tia's pain and trauma. The responses were a wake-up call, and I realized I was just going to ruin everything. While it wasn't meant that way, it would just hurt Tia and ruin our relationship. I managed to convince some friends to let Maya stay with them and looked for a place. Currently, Tia still lives with me while I found a cheap one-bedroom for Maya. It's been a rough one financially, but I managed to get everything my sisters need. A few sacrifices don't matter compared to them, and Maya needed help adjusting and learning to be independent, so I did have to focus on her initially. And Tia absolutely hated me for it, for giving her any attention, so yeah, it was extremely difficult at first. But hey, it got better, a lot better, as Maya adjusted and grew more independent and I could balance my time better. It's not perfect, but we've gotten into a rhythm that best of we can. Maya's grown a lot and can mostly live by herself now, though I obviously still help her. Therapy has really helped her and she's made a lot of friends at university. While she still wants Tia's forgiveness, she's accepted that it's not in her control and to focus on living her life and improving herself. I'm really happy she's free of our parents' influence and she's nothing like she used to be. Though, I do wish I would have tried harder when she was younger, rather than just giving up. Tia is not completely happy. No, I don't think she'll ever forgive Maya. I've done my best to make it clear I love her, and Maya's not my favorite, but hey, it's been hard. We get joint therapy and that helps a lot, but she still wishes it was just us. Still, she's finally able to understand that helping Maya is not rejecting her. I'm so thankful and lucky Tia could forgive me. She means the world to me and I never intended to hurt her. Though I clearly completely ducked up at my approach. We basically just avoid the Maya situation and have managed to get back to normal. She's such a strong woman. I'm honestly so proud of her and so ashamed of how short-sighted I was. As selfish as it is, a part of me will always wish Tia could forgive her. But I know that's impossible, and a little bit selfish of me to ask it. I don't think Tia will ever fully accept that Maya is a part of my life. The most I'll ever get is Tia and Maya being in one building for my wedding. But honestly, that's enough for me. They're both victims of our parents, so I'm just glad they can both be happy and free. While it's not a fairy tale ending I was hoping for, everything's going pretty well. I'm glad I posted and I was able to fix my horrible mistake. Thank you everybody for the comments you listed on both postings. I really appreciate your insight. Alright guys, so this comment section is totally just off the walls of this story. Half of them are agreeing and half of them are not. Some are saying, hey, you're splitting up these sisters, and the others are saying, hey, get off his back. He's trying to do the best he can for his two sisters. Let's go ahead and read a couple comments. The first one says this. Don't you listen to all these bullcrap comments. Freaking loves a story with a bad guy that they can hate and a victim they can sympathize with. What you're doing and sacrificing for your sister is beyond admirable. You're a good person and the world needs more people just like you. I hope you can too find your peace someday. That's when comment 2 basically agrees and says, Jesus, this man's getting raked over the coals for trying to do best for his two sisters when he himself is a youngster. He says he wishes the sisters could just forgive each other, which is obvious to any sane person. Never said he was forcing them to do it. So guys, I want to hear your opinion on this one. Do you think he's doing the right thing? Let me know. Drop a comment down below and let's look at the final story of the video. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to pretend to be my twin on her wedding day? Yeah, sounds a little confusing of a title, but let me explain what I'm talking about. I'm 30, have an identical twin sister, and for the purposes of being anonymous, I'll call her Jess. Jess and I look so much alike, it can actually be pretty freaky. At one point, when we were still infants, they had to draw a little dot at the bottom of one of our feet, just so they could keep track of who was who for medical reasons. My mom adored the fact that Jess and I were her cute baby twin girls, and treated us as if we were precious dolls, who she would frequently dress like and always make us do things together. At first I didn't mind it at all, because well, it was my normal and I do genuinely love my sister, but when we started getting older and I developed my own interest, I would get so frustrated or upset when I either could not do something because Jess didn't want to, or the only way I could do it is if Jess could come with me and vice versa. It sucked, because despite our appearances, Jess was the more extroverted twin who liked to go to parties and do sports, while I was introverted and just artistic. I was always made to do what Jess wanted, because me not wanting to be social was seen as, quote, bad. And the only way that Jess would agree to do or endure my hobbies was if I did her homework or chores. When my parents were divorcing, I was over the moon when my dad agreed to let me live with him in another state, and Jess did not want to move away from all her friends, and my mom cried when I had to tell her I didn't want to live with her and Jess. Well, Jess accused me of hating them. This really wrecked me emotionally, and I almost caved. But my dad got me into therapy, which helped me tremendously, and helped me gather the courage to just leave. I never really did shake off the guilt, though, until around senior year of high school, but I never once regretted my choices because of how liberating I felt by getting to just be me. I was slowly able to repair my relationship with Mom and Jess, but Jess and I were just never as close as we used to be, and I was honestly fine with that. Fast forward to adulthood. Jess is engaged to her boyfriend Steve, and their wedding's set for the spring. Unfortunately, Jess was recently in a bad accident and her face is going to need cosmetic surgery. She's been crying on and off for days over this because there's no way she's going to heal up in time for the wedding. So get this. My mom, Steve, and I have been trying to console her, but it's not enough. Early this week, my mom approached me with this crazy idea of dressing up as Jess and pretending to be her for the ceremony and reception so the pictures will look nice. Guys, I was absolutely floored and gave a hesitant, no, because while I do know that this will mean a lot to my sister, I just feel really uncomfortable about it. My mom was upset with me and said that it wasn't a big deal I was making out of it. It was just for the pictures, and asked me if I would really want to make it so that Jess would have to be reminded of her trauma whenever she would look at her wedding photos or just not have any photos at all. So, my question I ask you guys is this. Am I the a-hole for saying no? Hey guys, just a little ETA to clear things up and a small update. Okay, because I've already seen this 1 or 2 times in the comments, I just wanted to be clear about some things. Number 1, Jess and Steve's wedding is a book at their dream venue, and if they postpone, which is in about 3 weeks, they won't be able to book it again until 2025. And families on both sides are coming from out of state. Number 2, apparently between the wedding cost and needing to save up for the cosmetic surgery, Steve and Jess don't have the money to pay for professional Photoshop. Number 3, we live in America, as far as I know, since Jess has surgery and is purely for cosmetic purposes, health insurance is not going to cover it. Number 4, my mom was the only one who actually approached me about this, so I don't know for sure if Jess and Steve even know about this idea, and I'm honestly a little bit just curious of talking to them about it, just in case they're on board and start pressuring me into agreeing. And ETA 2, sorry for not clarifying, what my mom is proposing that I do is that I wear Jess's wedding dress, and she wears whatever I was going to wear, and that I just stand in there for when it's time to walk down the aisle, do the entrance at the reception, first dance, bouquet toss, and well, photo time. I wouldn't actually be doing the vows. Now time for the mini update. Thanks all for your advice and suggestions, as well as the affirmation that I have the right to say no. Yeah, I mean, I'm still dealing with the residual guilt about refusing to do things for my mom. So I reached out to Steve first about suggesting Photoshop. Turns out he and Jessie were already considering that before deciding to just postpone the wedding, as Jess is dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder from the accident, and doesn't believe that she's going to be able to handle the stress of a wedding in 3 weeks' time. I was so relieved and told Steve that I would be more than happy to help with getting the word out to people that the wedding was not happening right now. For the sake of peace and Jess's mental health, I've decided to keep what my mom said about using me as a replacement for the wedding photos to myself for now. Jess is really going through a lot, and I feel like this would be like rubbing salt in an already open wound. The comment section of this one was basically saying, hey, you should start living more in the moment. The most important thing for the wedding is not the pictures. Yeah, they might be a big deal to some people, but hey, you can't let that take away from the fact that you need to be in your own wedding. You don't want to miss out on the dance or anything like that. But here's a couple comments talking about it. So I'm a little confused. Does all of these important wedding things first happen with her walking down the aisle and dancing? Or are they just going to repeat them in front of everyone? Or worse, does Jess not even get to do them at all? How is that a realistic solution? Well, obviously photos are more important than being the actual bride. Sarcasm. The mother is absolutely horrible. And then the final comment saying, there are plenty of weddings out there where they seem to care more about getting the perfect photos, rather than actually enjoying the day. It's sad, but it happens. So guys, let me know your thoughts about this, and if you were in this exact position, right after the accident, messed up face, what would you do? Postpone, not get the venue you want, have your pictures be replaced by your twin sister, or just say, you know what? I'm going to take the pictures myself. Drop your comments down below. That's it for today's content. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.